Hello BookTube. Oh. That was a tune called She Moved Through the Fair. Very popular song, traditional song. Well, no, it's not traditional actually. It's written by Padraig Colum, but the tune's traditional. Spooky song, if you know it. Anyway, like a lot of people on here, I've been having a look at that list of 100 best novels, and they're all very worthy and improving and all that. But I've sort of decided that I don't want to improve that much. Not that there isn't room for improvement, but I don't think I'm going to change that much now, really. So I know it's a bit sad, but there we are. So I'm going to just, I like to read for enjoyment, but I like lists in some ways when you come across something or some writer new, a new title or something like that. And I mean, one of my main reasons for going on BookTube was to see what other people were reading and what they recommend. Give me some ideas of new writers to try and even new genres to try, really. And browsing through bookshops and things like that, and libraries and charity shops particularly, I sometimes will just indulge, buy something, I don't know, read the blurb and it looks interesting. And I came across a couple of books that I thought were both excellent, really. I really enjoyed them, and I'd never heard of either of the writers before. So the first one is this: Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, and of course it's Japanese translation from Japanese by Satoshi Yagisawa. It says the international bestseller, and it's Satoshi Yagisawa is male, a young man by the looks of him, born in 1977. Anyway, this is his debut novel. It's quite short, 170 pages, and it is a light read. It's an uplifting, cheerful book. It starts a little bit bleak, in that the central character, the that is a young woman, and she's been badly dealt with by her boyfriend, who's, while they're out together at a meal, calmly tells her that he's going to get married soon, but he doesn't want their relationship to stop. So she's a little bit upset by that, and she goes and hides from the world. And she's got this uncle who runs this bookshop, and he is very fond of her. So he invites her to stay at the bookshop in a sort of decrepit room stacked full of books. She's reluctant at first. She doesn't read books, she doesn't like books, but she does stop there and slowly starts sort of looking at the books, and the customers are interesting, and her life begins to open out, basically, and she finds she finds a way out of her difficulties, and it's about kindness, actually. So it's a very uplifting book, very enjoyable, a very easy read. translated from the Japanese, and it's a translator. Who is it? I don't know. Can't see it. Oh yeah, translated by Erikazawa. Well, he's got an English name and a Japanese name. I don't know which he used, but anyway, he uses pretty plain English, not lots of adjectives and adverbs and complex sentences, short sentences, simple language, very easy to read and absorb. Anyway, very little happens in it, but very enjoyable book. Apparently there's been a follow-up. I think it's called More Days at the Morisaki bookshop. So I should look forward to reading that as well. Anyway, this came out in 2000, well, the English translation 2023, so 3 years ago, and the original 2010. So anyway, nice that. I like that. And then I came across Andrew Michael Hurley, Barrowbeck. It's the Sunday Times quote on the front says, "The new master of menace." So I thought, oh, is this some sort of horror or yeah, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, it looked interesting, and it's set in my part of the world, or where I come from, which is the Lancashire-Yorkshire border. 2024 this came out. I've not heard of Andrew Michael Hurley, but I think he had a big hit with a previous book. I think it might have been shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize or something like that. Let's see if it's mentioned. Oh yes, Starvacre. I had heard of that, but I hadn't read it. And it's not what I expected at all. I expected monsters and horrors and all that sort of thing, and it isn't like that at all. It's much more subtle than that. Very writerly. It's a literary thing more than a horror thing, and it's Barrowbeck is a small town or maybe a village, and weird things happen there. It begins there in about 8 something or other. First footing. The 800s, sorry. Yeah, with a raid on the village by, I don't know, it could be Vikings. And it goes through, I think there's 14 chapters, and they're all short stories really, linked by this town. That's the linking thing, which seems to have a malign spirit. At first you think it might be the river. So the first time it simply is that there's an attack by marauders who kill a lot of the villagers. The next chapter jumps to 1445, where there's a strange man turns up. They're all suspicious of his, but there's nothing evil about him really. He's just a traveller from Sicily. He's a pilgrim. Some of them want to kill him, but eventually he leaves. It's as simple as that. Then 1792, the strangest case. I think then it jumps forward, 1899, where there's a fair, and somebody at the fair, it has a stall, and if you win a prize, it's a small animal, a real animal, like a giraffe, but about 6 inches high. Very peculiar. Then it jumps forward to 1922, called Hymns for Easter, where a choir master is teaching the men of the village who've come back from the First World War to sing in the choir, and he's lost his son, but he's also, and he's having a lot of injured, crippled men, decrepit men with psychological problems from the war, and he's trying to teach them. And as they practice and as they sing, they seem to be able to hear the voices of the men who've been lost. It's quite touching, really. So it's little things like that. It's not really horror. Is it a ghost story? It leaves you thinking. And then there's one, 1970, An Afternoon of Cake and Lemonade, where the vicar wants to do good in the world, and he invites in underprivileged children to stop, or to come for a day anyway, just to experience a nicer environment. They come from the city, somewhere like Bradford or somewhere, and anyway, one boy is there who's got something seriously wrong with him, and the vicar has a son, and the son is always asked to help, and the son is tired of, the son thinks that God is evil because he allows suffering in the world, whereas his father thinks he's going to follow him into the ministry, and the son has no intention of doing anything like that. And that has a sinister twist to it. So and then it goes right through, different, and they're all short stories that make you think. And then it goes into the future. There's one called Covenant, 2029. And a sort of environmental theme begins to emerge. There's been some quarrying in the area, and in the Covenant there's a man who is psychic, or is regarded as psychic by some of them, and he says because of the quarry there's something coming, some disaster coming. And then the last chapter is 2041, when that disaster, it doesn't even really tell you what it has been, but lots of things have been destroyed, and the town has been decimated, or the village, and the village is always seen as slightly sinister, as I say, malign. Anyway, it was a great read, really good, nice to discover a new writer that I at least haven't heard of. A lot of people will have heard of him. I think it was the blurbs that encouraged me to read it. Irish Times, thrilling, unsettling, ominous, like a knock at the door on a dark evening. Mail on Sunday, Barrowbeck casts a real spell, or is it a curse? and something called Dazed, whatever that is. Hurley is the master of contemporary British folk horror. I think that's a good description. Folk horror, yeah, it's a good description. It is kind of like about that sort of folk superstitions and so on. But it's original, you know, they're not obvious ghosts and spirits and monsters at all. It's the kind of thing you can believe in if you're that way inclined. Barrowbeck. It's an imaginary place. There's a bit of Barrowford in there, I suppose. That's possible. It's obviously somewhere set near, somewhere like Hebden Bridge or somewhere, but more remote. It says it's a remote valley. But yeah, I enjoyed that. So I'm always on the lookout for new writers and a new kind of interest in reading, I think. I don't want to read any more classics, really, I don't think. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that is of interest to somebody at least.